50% of.
Well, you don't know what
of
the
any
situation
property.
is.
Well, yeah, we do. All right, let's see. You want to talk? Do you think there's an opioid?
Opiate?
Opioid?
Opioid?
Opioid epidemic?
I don't know. What's an epidemic?
Right. Everybody's calling it that. They want to have a big fight. There are lawsuits from several states trying to sue pharmacies, which is like trying to sue a gun manufacturer for a gun death.
Stupid.
It's not going to go anywhere. Our state, Michigan, is one state that's doing that. In the meantime, some drug companies, drugstores, I think it was CVS, wasn't it? They won't fill these pain medications unless you go through this big rigmarole and all this stuff. Doctors aren't prescribing stuff, and there are people that really need painkillers.
Yeah,
and is it an epidemic?
But I don't know.
So,
are we going to talk about whether it is?
I'm gonna, because
okay,
I wanted your input on this.
All right.
So in 2016, they claimed that 64,000 Americans died from overdoses. Now that's all overdoses. That's marijuana overdoses, which I think were zero, and then
it's approximately zero.
And then that's heroin. That's all overdoses. Accidental, of course, but how many are suicides?
4?
We don't know. No. Well, Canada research suggests that almost half of their deaths were accidental, with 33% as being intentional suicides. So it's like guns when they say, well, there's 30,000 people are killed with guns. 68% of those are suicide.
What? So they're saying that they have about 20%, 17% that are what? Murder? Half are accidents. 33% are intentional.
Yeah, I don't know what
20% are something other than an accident or intentional.
Maybe undetermined. Yeah, indeterminate.
That's a lot.
Now, the next thing I see here is half of all opioid overdose deaths in 2016.
It's a hard word to say.
It's opioid.
I don't think anyone knows how to say it.
Now, they involved prescription opioids. Now, how else do you get them? I mean,
you
I
make
guess
them in your bathtub, I think.
No, you can't. Now, I suspect that means.
Well, I mean, with a 2x4 and a steel pipe, you can make one in your garage.
I think.
Oh no, that's a shotgun. Never mind.
For $7.23 at Lowell's. So
Lowell's?
I think they mean that that half of those people died from the drug that was prescribed to them.
Probably.
As
like it was a
opposed to-
legitimate prescription for that person.
As opposed to the kids taking their parents and...
Or they sold it or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let's see. Okay. So you look at it. So deaths from all opioids from 2000 to 2015, it was 10 in 100,000.
What?
10 out of 100,000. That's the ratio. Now, guns, people killed by guns is around 4 in 100,000. But you look at things like cancer and heart attack and car accidents, they're higher than that. So while every death, I guess, is a tragedy, I'm not sure that it's an epidemic.
And is it where we should be spending our energy if we're really? I mean, if we're trying to save our blood and treasure. If we're trying to save the highest number of people possible, is this the place? It's the same question that I asked about texting while driving.
Right. I mean,
is it
that's
really
a good point, because that's close to how many people die in car accidents, 60,000.
Yeah.
So, all right, the overdose. I looked at some statistics from the CDC.
Okay.
And overdose rates were highest among people aged 25 to 54. That kind of makes sense, right?
That's
in the bell curve. Overdose rates were higher among non-Hispanic whites. So more white people overdosed, and American Indians and Alaskan Natives compared to blacks and Hispanics.
Okay.
So the demographic, more whites and natives than the others.
That's a rate, like
overdose rate.
Per capita or something like that. Okay.
Men were more likely to die from overdose, but that's changing. That gap is closing. So women and men are approaching equal.
Well, good. Gender equality.
So now we look at prescriptions per 100,000. These are medical prescriptions. And it ranks them. And I've got the number one, and I've got the least prescriptions. And Alabama was number one with 142.9 prescriptions per 100 people. So there's more prescriptions per people. That's possible. You have two different drugs.
Two different opioid drugs.
Yeah, I mean,
what is an opioid?
I don't know.
I don't think anybody knows.
It's in the cocaine, heroin, pain relieving type of genre.
Okay.
All right, you're going to look it up. So I looked up our state, our fair state, Michigan. We're number 10 out of 50,
out of how many?
50. 52.
Is Puerto Rico in here?
52. Yes, Puerto Rico and D.C. Michigan, number 10. We have 107 prescriptions per person, so a little over one per person in the state. Now, is that men, women, and children? Because mostly adults are getting this. But Hawaii was 52. No, they were. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't Puerto Rico. It was just D.C. So it's 51 total, and they. Yeah, no, it's 52. I'm sorry. No, God darn it, I'm transposing numbers. It was 51 states and districts. Hawaii had 52 prescriptions per 100, so they were the lowest. Did you find out what an opioid is?
Yeah. So it's interesting because
it doesn't really exist.
No, this is the type of thing that skews. I mean, what's a prescription, first of all? Does that mean that a doctor wrote you a prescription that you took to a pharmacy? Because opioids include things like anesthesia. So that 140 prescriptions per 100 people, does that include anesthesia?
I don't think so.
Opioids are used for things like suppressing diarrhea, suppressing cough, and helping with constipation, which is interesting because that's... So, I mean...
I don't think it's anesthesia. I don't think you're getting a prescription for that. It's directly.
Yeah, I assume not. But, yeah, so it's a substance that acts on...
I'm assuming it's a script, you know.
A substance that acts on opioid receptors.
Oh, that explains the name.
Produce morphine-like effects. Yeah. I mean, it's such a broad...
Yeah, I know.
...thing.
Statistics and damn statistics. All right, so I just wanted to bring that up as, you know, it's big news right now. Everybody's dying. I mean, our local township, you know, all the cops' cars are taking the Norcan and the fire departments, which I think is a good idea. And they said they've seen an uptick in overdoses, and we've had a few deaths in our little town from overdoses. I don't know, Nate. Do you like your privacy?
No.
Okay.
I didn't.
Is your life an open book?
I wasn't done with that.
We're going to go back.
But I don't remember
opioids.
Well, I don't remember now what I wanted to talk about.
Or opioids.
I don't remember. Oh, I do remember now. You were talking about pharmacists that wouldn't fill the prescriptions. You were talking about doctors that didn't want to write the prescriptions. Right. We've decided as a nation that we have an opioid epidemic, right?
That's what we're discussing.
Well, I mean, we haven't, but I typed opioid in Google, and it suggested opioid epidemic. So enough people think that there is one.
Sure,
what I'm saying is the government did not force those doctors to not write the prescriptions. It did not force those pharmacists to not fill those prescriptions.
They took it on their own.
They think, I don't agree with them, but they are solving the problem without government interaction. So we don't need Jeff Sessions up there telling us that we need to kill all drug people and raid houses and murder babies and dogs because we want to save people's lives. I mean, we can handle this ourselves. And the way to handle it is to make it all legal. Also, and stop requiring prescriptions by law.
Yeah, we had that discussion.
All right, let's move on.
Oh, wow. I don't know if that was worth the comeback, but all right. You like your privacy. We've established you don't because your life is an open book. Stop texting.
Well, we're getting messages a lot. I can't keep up because Steve's on vacation again. I mean, he's here in the studio, but he's not working.
I notice he's got his feet up and sleeping.
Well, I gave him some of the opioids that I had. I don't know if he's sleeping or not. But
you've got hundreds.
Well, he had diarrhea. I wanted to help him out.
Sure.
Opiate odds. Okay, that's funny. That's how you pronounce it. Opiate odds, I guess.
That's cute. That's cute.
All right.
I'm going to say it third and final time. You like privacy, don't you? You like your privacy, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Okay. I try to put as little as possible on the internet. I don't like to share my opinions with the public and on the internet. I keep those private.
You don't like to share pictures of yourself or your family?
I don't share pictures or videos. Certainly not audio broadcasts ever on the internet.
Well, that's good. That's a good way to live.
Yep. Why do you ask?
Well, I just wondered. In Portland, Oregon, officials all insist they have the right to search people's trash with no warrants. Right? Well, the courts all over the country have said that trash on the street is not yours. That's in public domain, and you are free to go through people's trash.
I had a friend, coworker, that was doing some yard work. He bought a brand new wheelbarrow, had it out by the road. He was like digging in the ditch or something, went in the house or left. Yeah. And when he came back, the wheelbarrow was gone.
Yeah.
He called the police. It was brand new. Yeah, called the police, and they said it was in the road right away. Yeah. Nothing we can do. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, they didn't want to do
but
anything.
It's, yeah, right. Well, how are you going to find a wheelbarrow? I've always been careful about like leaving stuff within the road right away. I live on a corner. I know it's been years. I haven't found anything useful in your trash yet.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. You won't find anything useful in there. But my point is, like, you're mowing your lawn and you want to go and get a lemonade and you leave your lawnmower, down by the road.
Right.
Boom, it's gone. I always moved it up out of the way because I was afraid of exactly that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Kids' toys, you pull them up away from the road.
Not the kids.
No, not the kids.
You sit right here.
You encourage them to play by the road, but their stuff costs money, and that has value.
Oh, jeez.
So anyways, a local news organization decided in order to show them what's what, they went through the chief of police's trash, the mayor's trash.
I like that.
And the district attorney's trash.
I like that. That's nice.
So the Chief Croker, I love that name. By the way, I did some research. Yes, I do research. Chief Croker is the police chief of Portland.
Yeah, I won't tell people how much research you do, but it's a good amount.
You
are a scientist.
He's the former UN police chief of the UN.
Oh, I'm not surprised about any of this anymore.
Right.
Jeez.
He was perfectly comfortable with the idea of trash, and this came about because they went through a police officer's trash to try to find out if she was using drugs, and they actually took a used tampon and analyzed the blood on it and found traces of drugs, which then they got a warrant and searched her home and found drugs and stuff.
This was in
their own officer. So
in Portland, Oregon.
Oregon.
Okay.
So,
man, angry.
He says, things inside your house are guarded. Those that are in the trash are open for trash men and pickers and the police. So it's not a matter of privacy anymore. All right. He says, this is an interview with these journalists, right? He says, then they spread out some of the highlights from their hauls from his own trash.
Oh, jeez. Jeez.
He yelled out, well, this is very cheap.
Uh-huh.
Frowning as we pointed out a receipt with his credit card number, a summary of his wife's investments, an email prepping the mayor about his job application to be police chief of Los Angeles, a well-chewed cigar stub, a handwritten note scribbled on pencil on a napkin, so personal it made us cringe. We also drew his attention to a newsletter from the conservative political advocacy group Focus on the Family, addressed to him and his wife. They said, are you a member of Focus on the Family? No, the chief replied. Is your wife? You know, he said, with a Clint Eastwood gaze. It's none of your business.
Uh-huh.
He says, none of them were happy, but the DA at least joked about it. The mayor and the chief threatened legal actions on what grounds